Welcome to Inside the Lab with Peter Kalos. Today we're going to talk about script breakdown and different layers or levels of acting. As I tell people, everyone gets the exact same script, but most people focus on the words, they run over them, they think of how they're going to say them, and it's best if you think of everything else. There's so many other layers to just acting, right? Basically, a very simple summation of this is, where am I coming from? Why am I here? Where am I going? It's simple to understand that. It's simple to put that on your script. But it's so many layers. I'm going to read you guys a quote, and it came from Stella Adler. And a lot of times when I bring this concept up, I get a lot of slack from directors and from writers. And a script is just giving you the information. There are so many more things there. We'll read the quote first and we'll go from there. Stella once said, "The words of the script are communicating specific things, and you must openly be receptive to the impulses that the words should arouse. The actions exist in the circumstances, and when you place yourself in the circumstances, you should permit your imagination to take flight in order to arrive at the most interesting actions. The actor should stay away from the words of the script until they feel ownership of the actions." The basic understanding of this is everyone knows where they will be, say, half an hour or an hour from now. They know what they will be doing, but they don't necessarily know what they will be saying. So and the other thing she used to say is the actor or the character doesn't know the script, the actor does. If I went to the corner right now and asked people, where will you be an hour from now? They would know. They'd say, I'll be at work, I'll be having dinner, I'll be at a bar having a drink. So they know what the action is, but they don't have a clue what they'll be saying, which tells the actor, I want you to memorize the script in terms of actions, not words. It's night and day. And right away, people start getting, hey, what about the words? What about this? You will get to the words. If you don't do all this other stuff, all you've got left is the words. And you see a lot of this in people's acting. You see when they're performing and they finish the word, then it kind of just drops. There's nothing else going on because what they're doing now is, well, I finished my words. I'm now waiting for the other person to talk so I can respond. Instead of, why am I here? I'll give you a couple examples. We'll talk about a couple of scripts. One of them is, oh boy, here we go. What's it called? The Zoo Story. It's a guy, his name is Peter. He's sitting in a park bench. Now, it doesn't tell you why he's sitting there. It just says he's in a park bench. And a guy comes walking past and he says to him, I've been to the zoo. Now, what you need to understand as an actor, and I've seen this scene done thousands of times, literally thousands. I've seen it done in classes, at Strasbourg, at Stella, here in Melbourne. The actors don't know that they're going to meet. See, that dictates everything. So if I took one actor off stage, let's assume I took Peter off stage, which is the guy sitting on the chair, then in theory, Jerry could keep walking because Jerry's not there to meet Peter. Jerry has a purpose. He's walking to a destination. So if Peter wasn't there, what would Jerry's reaction look like? Same as Peter. Peter's not there to meet Jerry. Peter is sitting there. He smokes a pipe. That's in the script. And the big question is, most actors, by most, we're talking about 98% of the actors, sit there waiting for the other actor to turn up and say the lines. What if Jerry doesn't turn up? What would your character be doing? So then here is, and some of these notes will be based on character, some of them will be based on the script, right? Why could Peter be out there? If the family's doing great, and the wife is great, and the kids are great, and the finances are great, he could just be out there to enjoy some peaceful time on his own, to reflect. To have a pipe, he smokes a pipe. To read a book. So it's just reflecting. But then we always ask, where did you come from? If he came from his house, it's different from if he's coming from work. Because if he's coming from work, he could be having a lunch break. If he came from his house, what's he running away from? Why can't he be home right now? Why does he choose not to be home right now? And then the other big part is this. Why this park? And this is very important. How long has he sat here for? That's mandatory to the script. I'll give you an example. If you just sat here and someone came by and said, hey man, move. I want this bench. And they look a bit rough. You'd get up and move because you haven't settled yet. You just sat down. If you've sat down for an hour or even half an hour, like right now, I've been sitting here for a good 15, 20 minutes. I've put my things down. I've laid out my notes. It's not easy to get me to move. So we could argue that if Peter has sat there for, let's say, 50 minutes, what could that look like? Has he taken his jacket off and put it on the chair? Now, this is where character comes down. Remember, half the notes are character, half a script. Stella used to say the action is the script, how the action is done is the character. Would he take his jacket off and put it on the chair nice and neatly? Would he just throw it on the park bench? Would he sit on the park on the jacket? Would he put it over his knee? What about his pipe? Most people, what they do, they bring a pipe. It's called show and tell. Well, I'm showing you I've got the pipe because that's what's in the script. Learn how to smoke the pipe. What do you keep it in? Once again, character breakdown. One character would have it in his pocket. I remember my godfather used to smoke a pipe. He just used to put it everywhere. Does he have a little packet that contains everything in there? Is he clean? Is he in the middle of cleaning his pipe when the script starts? It could be. It could be in the middle. He could be in the middle of cleaning his pipe, which means I've finished smoking. I'm now about to start another pipe. I'm in the middle of something. So you don't just start cold. Am I reading a book? Why am I in this particular part of this park? Because the more you heighten your choices, the more likely your character will be to sit there and fight for this bench, which is what happens at the end. Remember, the character doesn't know this at the beginning. If this is a park bench that I used to sit with, my dad, then I'm more inclined to go, you know what? This means something to me. If I sit here and from this perspective, I can see my house, right? That's different. I want to sit here because I can see my house. I like to be in this office because I can see outside. I can see the streets. Once again now, if I sit here and I can see my house from here, what's going on with his family? For those of you that know the play, if you don't know it, check it out. Edward Albee, The Zoo Story. Let's assume, so you understand how all this dictates everything, what's going on at home is not good. Let's assume either his wife is having an affair or Peter's having an affair. That's very different now. Because now you're here reflecting about your life and what you've built. And I could see my house and I could go, you know what? I worked really hard for that. And either I'm betraying the marriage or she's betraying the marriage. That's different. You sit differently. You smoke the pipe differently. What could be in your pockets? What could be in your pockets? Most people, I'll give you an example. There's a part where Jerry asks Peter, do you have any kids? And 98% of actors say the lines, yes, I've got 2 daughters, and they move on, right? They move on from that. Ask anyone down the street, especially the older parents, do you have any kids? There's a very good chance that they will bring out a photograph and show you their kids. That's why Stella used to say acting is in the choices. It's not in the script. But Peter happens to work in publishing, and this is in the 50s. Now, not everyone had a photograph available to them in the 50s, or if they did, they valued it more. So you as an actor could have a photograph of your kids or the family. So when Peter says, hey, or Jerry says, hey man, do you have kids? You could say, yes, here they are. Here's a photograph of them. You could go to take it out. Now, you can't change the course of the script. You can't show Jerry and go off another tangent. So you could indicate like you're going to take it. And anyway, what happens is that Jerry moves on in conversation anyway. But then I believe that you're an actual parent with photographs of the kids. And then even Jerry, or Peter, sorry, looking at the photograph could feed him something. So these choices that aren't in the script, we add in there. The smoking, the coughing, he does say it's going to give you things. All these choices without the words give so many different layers to your work as an actor. So we'll talk about Peter primarily right now to see all the variables. If Jerry didn't come across, what would he be doing for the rest of the hour or half an hour? Now, could he be writing a letter? You could be writing a letter. People wrote letters in the 50s. And it's something that's also private, because if you're sitting there writing a letter and you're private and someone comes past, all of a sudden you probably fold the letter and put it in your pocket or something. That's one choice. Remember, golden rule, Stella used to say, acting is in the choices. If I didn't bring the other actor on stage, what would your actor be doing, or your character? How it's done is based on the character. Could he be eating? It could be. Now, how often does he come here? Is he aware of the weather? Does he wear a hat? Does he wear gloves? All these things aren't in the script. And once again, I want to see how long he sat here. When you sit somewhere for an hour, your spine sits differently. You have to stretch. So you could be in the middle of something. You could be in the middle of a stretch. You could be. Otherwise, you're sitting there waiting for the other person to talk, which means I'm waiting on lines, as opposed to what's the activity of the actor. These are massive, massive choices that you could bring in. Once again, what's going on at home, positive or negative? Is it a work thing? Could he have worked at some company for many, many years and finally they're about to get rid of him and he goes, what have I done with my life? Could he reflect upon this particular park? Because maybe when he was a kid, he used to play here and now he's reflecting to go, wow, where's the 30 or 40 years of my life gone? And the problem is this, you don't have to be literal. Meaning, if I said to you, yeah, the park takes place in Central Park, what is the Central Park equivalent to you? Because most actors haven't been to Central Park. So they act, you ask them, where are you? And they go, well, I'm doing my school notes here. It says I'm in Central Park. And I say, I'm in Central Park. What does Central Park mean for you? If you've never been, you don't have a clue. What park are you in? It has to make sense parallel-wise. It's got to make sense to be Central Park. But what does it mean to you? I know there's many parks here in Melbourne that I could go to because of where I grew up. So now the character is sitting there and you've got all these choices. Home, positive or negative. Park, why this very specific park bench? It didn't just happen. Peter didn't just turn up here. There's a very specific reason. And the other big factor is, where's he coming from and where's he going to? It's very difficult to sit down in a park bench and have a 60-minute or an hour and a half discussion with a complete stranger. Because I always tell actors when they do this role, anytime you want to leave, get up and leave. And people go, but it's not in the script. Yeah, but then we see you waiting for the words. So if you're here and you've got to go, now listen, if your wife is, in hospital and she's having a kid, that choice is too strong of a choice. You'd get up and leave. But if you make a choice that, you got to be home a certain time, then every now and then you could look at your watch. Every now and then you could suggest like you're about to get up. And you can plant these little choices as an actor in the script, because many, many times Jerry goes, you're not listening, or you have to go, or please don't go. So you plant them just before then. So Peter doesn't just say that line, or Jerry doesn't say that line out of nowhere. Jerry sees your behavior like, I'm about to go now. You could start to pack up your pipe and you could start to pack up your jacket. So you're not just sitting there waiting for your lines. Most people don't understand this. They don't. They just focus on the lines. Let's talk about Jerry. Jerry says, I've been to the zoo. Hey, mister, I've been to the zoo. The amount of times that most of us have heard that line is like, nauseating. If you go to the zoo, see, what they would do as good acting students in America, they would go and sit outside the zoo and see what tells me that someone's been to the zoo. Do they have a map? They could have a map in their pocket. Remember now, you got to make it relative to the time period. This was the 50s. Do they have a map of the zoo? Do they have a ticket? Now, even if you don't show it, because then it becomes show and tell. You don't come to someone, hey man, I've been to the zoo. Look, here's the map. That's called show and tell. It could just be in your pocket. The point is, it will feed you. At some stage, you could literally look at there and look at the animals. You could. If you don't have the map in your pocket, then it's nothing. Also, I tell people, what's going on with your clothing? He's walked quite a few blocks. Walk 5, 6, 10 blocks and look at what happens with your clothing. It shifts. Your jeans start to sit differently. Your shoelaces could be undone. You might have taken your top off. Your body starts to, this isn't an athlete. This is Jerry. Does he need to stop and stretch? Is he thirsty? Is he sweating? He didn't run, but he's tired. So you don't start clean. See, most people, they literally go off stage, spend a few minutes preparing, whatever that is, and then they start on stage, but they're starting from zero. I'm building up towards something. No, Jerry's been walking for many, many blocks. There's a moment. And the other thing I ask people, why did you stop here to talk to Peter? And how many other people have you spoken to? Now, if you started approaching a person at a park and they said, hey, fuck off, now you're less inclined to approach the next person. Because if you got 10 people in a row saying, hey, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, ooh, you don't approach so easily now. Because the person you approached before this, half a block ago, if they engaged in you and they made contact with you, then you wouldn't necessarily have this play. Because the play is about someone who is trying to reach out to people, is trying to reach out and make contact, but he doesn't seem to be able to do it. And once again, as much as we say ignore the script, we don't mean ignore the script. We mean don't make it just about the script. There's a lot of clues in the script. He said there's a moment where he talks about how he went to buy some burgers and stuff, and he says, I'll have some meat for my pussycat or something like that. And he says they looked up, everyone looked up, which means he gets nervous about how he talks. He's nervous of people judging him because he's very used to people saying, hey, get out of here. So the way you open that line before you open your mouth, see, now the character's need is to connect. And you finally find someone who sits there. Now look at how much you've got to take in. Are they ready for me to approach them? Are they in the middle of something? Are they packing up and ready to go? There's a way to approach a person. You don't just bombard them and start because it says in the script, Jerry's got the first line. I want to see the character looking at the other character and going, yep, no, yep, maybe right now. You know, if Peter's about to leave, maybe Jerry should go, hey, before you leave, I need to make contact with you. But you can't change the words. But I can see that in your behavior. Once again, Jerry doesn't have a clue what he's going to say. Jerry knows as the character that he has a need to connect. What if this is the last person, which is in the script, that if you don't make contact with this person, it's over. You will die alone. And Jerry doesn't want to die alone. So now the need to connect to Peter is very, very different. Where is Jerry coming from? The zoo. How far exactly has he walked? What happens when you walk so many blocks? This is behavior that great actors put in there. And the big one is, why does this stop here? I want you all as actors to go out in the park and see how much of this script you can do. And watch, don't watch intellectually, but look at your behavior. You actually sit there, you pause. You don't just go straight to the person and start talking like most actors do. The one sits down, the other one sits at the, and then also there's many, many moments where the other actor feels so intimidated by them. I had someone, get on stage one day and they just started screaming at the other person, "I've been to the zoo," and you'd get up and leave. You'd go, "This is a freaking lunatic here." You would get up and leave. You wouldn't just sit there. Because now the other actor, Peter, is forced to sit there because of the lines. Get up and leave. It's Jerry's need is to stop you. So if you see that you're bulldozing the other person, as Jerry, you can go, "I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean to scream at you. I'm just in the middle of something." Blah, 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 blah. Behavior. Same as Jerry. Why this park? It's not just a park. Because we could take both these people and put them in a park somewhere across the world, not Central Park. We could put them in China or whatever. But that park then has no value to them. This park to Jerry means a lot. He knows exactly what part of the social class he's in by being in this part of the park. He knows exactly where his house is. And if you establish the house, and if you make the park very, very specific, when he says things like, "Hey, there's my house. I used to, I lived in a brownstone," you know where it is. Right now I'm sitting here. I know the beach is that way. So without even thinking, when I talk to the beach, there's a very good chance I'll point that way. My house is that way. So all this is work that great actors do before they open the mouth. You need to get on stage and establish home, beach, this, that. That's the actor's work, where most of us jump in on the lines. Restaurants are the same. Bedrooms are the same. Kazan once, they said, we'll get back to the zoo story. We'll use that as our main point. Kazan once said, don't tell the actors where to go. Just put furniture in the right place. I'm here, sitting here, because the mic is here and the table's here. I'm not sitting over there or over there. What dictates why I'm here is my need and where the furniture is. The point is, if you put the furniture in the right place, then your job as an actor is to what I call ferment it. Let's take a bedroom scene. You see couples in a bedroom, right? They're sitting there. Or the scene is, two couples in the bedroom and they're talking. What's on your character's bedside table? Nowhere in the script will it say what's on your bedside table. If there's a clock there, it reminds you of work. You got an alarm. You got to get up. If there's a photograph of you and the kids, or you and the wife or husband or whatever it is right next to you, it will remind you of something. This is why I get up to go to work. If there's a bottle of pills there, that's different. Great actors would put a bottle of pill based on the script. Let's assume, I'm just making this shit up as I go. Let's assume that the scene is a couple and they're in their bedroom and they're talking about something, but we know that the character will die of a heart attack 3/4 into the script. Now, what could be next to his bed? Could it be a late night snack that he had at 2 o'clock in the morning? That's his habit. He eats late at night, eats shit. That would give you a heart attack. Could he have a bunch of pills, but he doesn't always take them properly? I know people that have pills that don't take them. Sometimes he takes them. So that gives you behavior. Now, this is the ritual of going to bed, or the ritual of waking up. So now I'm not focused on the words as much as I am on the ritual. I got to get up today and go to work. It's Monday. Stella used to say, I want to know if it's Monday morning or Friday evening. Monday morning is very different from Friday morning or Friday evening. So how does your character behave when they're in this place? Are they winding up to go to bed? You change, you sit on your bed, and the whole weight of the world and the week's work comes to you. You look at the photograph, you look for your pills while you're saying the lines. Don't do any of this activity in lieu of the lines. They go hand to hand. And the subtle behaviors, because you don't want to show everyone that you're taking a pill. That's what we call show and tell. You just take it without even mentioning anything. Does your character wear glasses or not? None of this will be in the script. Back to Zeus story. What's Jerry doing? And you don't want to time it so stupidly that you're doing the exact same thing every single time when Jerry comes in. And when Peter's sitting there and Jerry comes and says the first line, "I've been to the zoo." One day you could be getting your pipe ready. The next day you could be writing a letter. The next moment you could be doing something else. So that the director decides, hey, I like that one. Let's keep going with that one. But as an actor, I don't know exactly what word I'll be writing if I'm writing a letter. You find it in the moment. The action is still to write a letter to someone. That's not mimicking. That's finding the lines every single take, every single moment. I'm finding the lines. Now, it's important, as I said, we'll stick with the bedroom scene and we'll go back and forth from the zoo story one. Now your job as an actor also is to make all this stuff personal and private. It's not just a bed. It's my bed. Who made this bed? Who made it? Who cleaned it? Who paid for it? How long we slept here? Pillow. Everything matters. Most actors treat it like a prop. They sit down, they lie down, it's a bed. Because most actors are worried about what they're going to say and they're worried about the other actor. There's no activity going on. Zero. We'll talk about Closer as an example. I know I'm jumping around from Zoo Story to just a made-up scene, but he's Closer. He's a great one. We'll talk about Larry and Anna. That's the scene where he comes home and he says to her, the Sultan has returned bearing gifts. I'll read the beginning of the dialogue really quickly. Larry says the Sultan's returned bearing gifts. Anna appears and the dance had moved towards Alice. Alice says, don't come near me. And Anna says, they're beautiful, thank you. Larry says, kisses Anna. Larry says, hey, guess what? Alice was in the Paramount Hotel. Anna says, what? Larry, you sent the postcards in the lobby. I bought one to boost your sales. Larry takes a postcard from his dressing gown, pocket and hands it back. Young Women London, right? He hands the postcard to Anna and says, and I checked the book, the Museum of Modern Art. Anna says, you're wonderful. Larry says, don't forget it. Alice says, change your mind. Hey, change your mind. Can I see you? And then Dan says, I can still hear you. Then it starts to go on and he starts to accuse her of having an affair. He says to us at some stage, did you sleep with him? Right? And he talks about sleeping with a hooker in New York. The script is right here. Okay, where is it? I'll find it really quickly. I think you might be about to leave me. I don't want to be wearing a dressing gown. I slept with someone in New York, a whore. I'm sorry. Please don't leave me. Anna says, why? Larry, for sex. I wanted sex. Anna, was it good? Larry, yes. Anna, Paramount Hall. Larry, no. 40-something Street. Anna, where did you go? Larry, her place. Anna, nice. Not as nice as ours. I'm really sorry. Why did you tell me? I couldn't lie to you. Why not? Because I love you. It's fine. Really, why? It goes on. It's a great scene. A lot of actors have done it. Take the words away. How far has he gone? How long has he gone away for? If you're going away for a day, it's different. If you're going away for 2 weeks, it's different. At some stage, he must have known, this is the work you have to do as an actor. At some stage, he knew that she was having an affair. That's why he went to the whore. That's I'm going to get back at her. I'll go sleep with the whore. So we can argue, why not just come in here saying, hey, Anna, you've had an affair. Screw you. And then we'll go, let's take the choice to the extreme. Why even turn up home? Why not just call her from New York and say, hey, I know you're cheating with someone. screw you. Then she'd leave right away. So in theory, we wouldn't get to that scene. So your choices have to be calculated to still make the scene happen. He comes home. He still loves her. It might be his last-ditch effort to reach out to her. Whose house is it? I'll give you an example. If they bought the house together and they bought the table together and the chairs together, it's their house. They were separate. They met each other. They moved in the house together. Different. Now, everything in this room has a memory. He says to her, did you sleep with him on this couch? And she goes, yes, on the couch. If we bought the couch together, that hurts more. The knife twists more. If it's your couch, I don't give a shit. You can fuck him on your couch. Don't fuck him in our bedroom. Different. If it's my couch that I bought and you slept on the couch, it hurts more. None of this is in the script. You put it there. So then why can't he just tell her? Did he buy her a gift? Yes, he did. He bought her the card. What else could he buy her? Most actors that do this just get a postcard. I'm not saying it's boring. I'm saying, so what? Don't just give me what's on the script. If this is your wife that you love so much, do you buy her a rose every time you fly out there? No, it's not a big deal. She's used to seeing a rose. But if you bring a rose out of nowhere this time around, this is different. She's going to look at it and go, oh my God, he bought me a flower or bought me a perfume or bought me something that reminds me of him and her together in New York. And you're going to go, oh, it makes her choice more difficult now because how can she just leave? What a sweet guy. If he was an asshole, he'd be different. He'd walk in, beat the shit out of her. That's not the character. What if he's so loving that you make it so hard for her to leave? And that's in the script. There's a line somewhere. I'll find it. Where he says, I'm too nice. He says, don't tell me I'm nice. Because what if he turned up and bought her a gift and bought something for the house? Without any words, she could be made to feel, and when I think emotions here, she could feel so guilty because she could go, shit, this is a man that loves me to death and I'm cheating on him. When did she last have sex with this other guy? When? Let's look at her options. Why doesn't she just leave? Why is she waiting there? Why? Her bag's about to go. Did she get caught in the moment? So meaning she's about to leave, but he turned up. Then you hide your bag quickly. Because if you're having an affair on someone and you want to leave them, then why fucking wait? Why wait? Leave. Whose house is it? What do you take with you when you leave? What do you take when you're having an affair with someone and you're leaving now? What do you leave behind? Would you write them a letter or not? Now, other things like how early did she have did she sleep with the guy? There's some clues in here. He says to her, you look like you're about to leave. What tells you that? Did she just take a shower? Does she smell different? Is there something on the couch, a smell, a stain that you want to hide and go, shit, I didn't finish cleaning up the apartment before I left? These aren't in the script. None of this is in the script. What if you just finished making love with your lover? Cupid literally just left. That's a lot of work, right? It's not just physical now. Why? The big one is, why are you having an affair? Let's talk about this. It's what we call the push-pull factor. If Larry is an asshole, right? And he is just the kind of guy that you don't want to be around, then go. Meaning leave before he even gets here, but he's not an asshole. If he's a nice guy and she wants to almost tell him. That's different. All that behavior could feed a scene, meaning all these choices could feed a scene so differently. And the colors come out differently without thinking about the words, without thinking. What if you made a choice as an actress? I need to stay here so I can tell him face to face, listen, I love you, you're a great guy. I'm just having an affair with this other guy because he's just hot. And, we've got a crush on him. But I need to tell you face to face. That could be her choice. But you don't know when you're going to tell him. As we do in life. You come in, you say, I'll tell him later. But he starts talking, hey, honey, how are you? I got you. So you almost go, fuck, I'll tell him tomorrow. Because I could have told him yesterday. I could have told him. Why tell him today? So now you're going to go, you know what? I won't tell him. I'll change my mind. I'll just leave and write him a note. Based on how it comes in. If he comes in yelling and screaming, you pack up your bag, you go. What does this scene look like without the words? When two lovers or two people know that there's something going on, they don't talk. And what's the ritual? He just came home from a trip. Does he have his airplane ticket with him? Most times you go to someone's house, they just came from the airport, you see a ticket somewhere. Give me a ticket. Does he have one of those stupid pillow things? Based on the character, some people would. Maybe that's exactly why she fucks the other guy, because the other guy would fuck you anywhere, and he doesn't give a shit about the comfort of a fucking pillow. But your character does. And it's a good choice for this character. He's one of these proper people that puts a thing on. Lovely guy, great guy, boring as shit. That could be the choice. Meaning he does everything meticulously, but he's a great carer. He's a great provider. He takes care of her. He bought her the book. I mean, how loving to buy her a book and buy her a card and to show, to boost her sales up. Why tell her about the prostitute in New York? That's massive. Meaning, it's not about the words. Could you tell her? Because for the longest time, your relationship has been so cold, meaning you've approached her, she won't sleep with you, you've approached her, she's not intimate, you've approached her, she's not intimate. You're so lonely that you had no choice but to go to a hooker in New York. No choice. You're that lonely. I mean, that's loneliness. He's not doing it out of bravado. Larry's not, sleeping with her out of bravado and, I'm going to go fuck someone to conquer. He's lonely. So now he could, in a sense, walk in already a broken man because she forced him, and we could take that perspective, she forced him to go to the hooker. She forced him out of her isolation and coldness to have no choice but to go to someone just to be touched, just to be held. It's necessity. It's not sexuality. It's a need to connect to a human being. So he comes home to say, listen, I'm so lonely in this relationship that I went there. I mean, that's a broken man right there. Make it harder for her to leave you. A lot of, I call them modern acting teachers, like today's world. They say, oh, it's about you winning. It's about you losing. Yeah, that's great. But you don't think like that. As a character, you don't go, I'm going to go in the kitchen and win. You go in the kitchen and go, I'm so fucking lonely. I just want to express that. So you could make a choice as a character to say, I'm coming home to tell this woman, I'm so lonely in this relationship that either we start working and make it work or we leave. And I'm flying back to make this face to face. But I'm so lonely. You could come out of that loneliness. All right? What does it look like to come to your house and to realize that, I think he works as a dermatologist from memory, to come home and realize that here you are, you bought the table, you bought the chair, you bought the couch. I've worked so hard to make a home for us. And all she's doing is screwing someone on him. I mean, imagine that as an acting choice where you come here and you're going to say, I'm going to tell you how lonely I am, and then you're going to jump out the freaking window. That's an amazing scene there. No words needed. And to feed all that through the words, my God, your job is now to make the couch matter, to make the house matter, to make the keys matter. How did you get from the airport? Stella Adler would ask you things like this. How did you get from the airport to the house? Did you have someone pick you up? Why didn't she pick you up? She's busy screwing, that's why. Or that's how you make a choice now. Is there a meal ready? Old school. You come home from the airport, there's a meal ready. Depends on what time you flew in. If it's New York and you fly in and it's 9 p.m. at nighttime, LA, it's midnight from New York, you've eaten shitty food, you might want something. She could make something. See, this is why I remember we talked about a Marriage Story. They did 50 takes. If I did 50 takes for this scene, I'd have the actress go, make him a meal. Late at night, a small something. Because you know he's tired and you know the ritual of coming. Remember, we're not after the words, we're after the activity of coming home. He comes home, he's tired, he's got his ticket, he's got his suitcase, he's got his, gift. He doesn't know what he's going to say. Because we could argue if he turned up and she's made a great meal and she looks amazing and she's ready to sleep, the scene will go a different way. So what if every time you come home, she makes you a meal, but now there's no meal, or now the meal is shitty, or now there's a meal with a letter on it? That's different. Now, you can't sit and eat the meal because it's not in the script, but you could make it and not eat it because that's an amazing acting choice. It's caretaking of each other with a lot of pain behind it. Now, most other people, they do the lines of the script. Did you sleep with him here? Did you sleep with him there? Was it good? And when I see actors, or many actors, and they just do what's on the script, they stop there. I'll give you an example. It says, I'll find it really quickly, where he starts accusing her of where they sleep, right? Here it is. Are you dressed because you thought I might hit you? That's what Larry says. Anna says, I've been hit before. And Larry says, not by me. That's massive. He's a good guy. Remember, he doesn't come in blazing guns here. He's a fucking nice guy. He's never hit her. That's not just a throwaway line. You know how many actors just throw away that line? You've never hit her. What kind of character are you? You don't hit. If it was Jake LaMotta from, Raging Bull, he'd fucking toss a whole table here. This guy doesn't. But the consequences of that in his mind could be massive. And then she says, is he a good fuck? And Anna says, don't do this. And Larry says, just answer the question, is he good? She says, yes. Better than me? Different. Larry says, better? She said, gentler. What does that mean? She says, you know what that means? Tell me no. I treat you like a whore sometimes. Why would that be? Great line. I'm sorry, and she says, don't say it. Don't fucking say it. You're too good for me. I am, but don't say it. That's Larry's line. Big line, right? Now, he says, so you didn't smell of him. So you'd feel less guilty. Guilty. Did you ever love me? She says, yes, big fucking deal. Let's just stop right there. Most people do the lines. They do that back and forth. Did you fuck him? Did you fuck him? Da, 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 da. If I came in this room, my living room, and I wanted to see evidence of my wife fucking someone, what would I do? I'd go in the fucking bedroom. I'd look to see how many champagne glasses there are. The point is, I'm looking around for evidence. Do I see anything? What do I see? What? How do I know where it happened? See, because if you're just doing the line, you know where it happened. It happened here, and that's the line, and I'm moving on. Don't move on. There's an icky feeling of shit. It's like, when people break into your house, you don't know what they fucking mean. So forget the script. Just do the activity. The action is, I want to see where they slept together. There's keys there. There's this there. Oh my God, did they move this? There's my bag. Oh God, there's tissues right there. Fuck. Yuck. Oh. See, I'm not doing the lines now. It's in my behavior. My action is to look for evidence that they've slept together. What's it like as a man to hear different? different. That's massive. Most people will bulldoze. Now, here's what we talk about. This is the acting work. If she slept with someone who is below you, that's easy. Go ahead, knock yourself out. You can sleep with that guy. He's a lousy fuck. He's a shit. He smells great. But I make this choice as an actor. It's what we call internal work. She slept with someone who's above me. Meaning someone from your personal life that's better than you, more dedicated, better, cleaner, whatever it is. You could just literally cut and paste people from your life. So now she could fuck anyone else but not him. What if she fucked someone from your high school growing up that you always competed with? See, now your brain can accept that to go, oh my God, that's why she fucked him. Because she fucked him to show my shortcomings. He's better. He took care of her. He took her to the right place. I bought a shitty fucking postcard. But I love her, so I bought her a flower also. He would have bought a dozen flowers. I don't know what he would have done better than me. It's not just sex, not just a line. It's here. The action is here. And most people don't understand that. So I say, do everything you can to show me the behavior without the lines. Without the lines. I'm going to read some things so we don't sit there talking forever. All right? Because I could. Okay? Things to explore. Place. Whose is it? What connection is it you have with this place? You need to establish all these things. And also, why does it happen here? If you're in a library or in a restaurant or in a house, it's different. The writer put the scene in a place for a reason. Use place. It's never a generic place. It's not a restaurant. If you're having a difficult time with your wife, and in your mind as an actor, this is our favorite restaurant, this is where we've been coming for our anniversary dinner, now it's not a neutral place. Don't just have neutral shit. This is our place. We used to come here all the time. Or, this is a place I've always promised to take her, but I never did. Her lover did, and here we are. The scene will come out differently. It's not just place. You see actors putting on their script, place, restaurant, but they don't actually connect to it. It's just a fucking idea. You need to establish this place. Make it what Stella used to say, personal, right? There's things like you hear people talking about immediate needs of the character. Yes, this guy just flew in from New York, so the immediate need is to unload, to unwind. It's late at night. He could be getting ready for bed. It makes sense that he takes a shower because you just came over. Makes sense. And notice he comes out of the shower dressed. Because if you're there, you're going to make love. You come out with a robe on. Different. So your immediate needs are to deal with the activity of turning up to this place. You go to a restaurant. What's my immediate need? Find a table, settle down, put my jacket on, look for the menu, look for the waitress. Those are my immediate needs to eat, to order. Not to say the lines. Behavior. Right? Same as when you're leaving a restaurant. You get up, you look for the waiter to pay the bill, you finish, you get your jacket, you button up your, belt again. Those are the immediate needs to get ready to go, right? I'm just going to read things out. There's no order here. I'm just reading them out, right? There are things that we talk about like long-term needs. The example I give, because everyone has seen Star Wars, is if I'm doing Luke Skywalker and I'm about to get in my spaceship, okay, and I get a cup of coffee before I get in my spaceship, there's Luke buying coffee, great. Even the coffee vendor would make me a nice cup of coffee because he knows I'm going to get in that spaceship and go destroy, the Death Star. So it's not just a casual throwaway scene anymore, is it? I need this cup of coffee before I get into that spaceship. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not a casual throwaway scene now. The bigger picture is we're here to destroy the Death Star. So everything is fed by that. Now, you don't have that in every single scene, meaning you don't bring that up front. There's other immediate needs. Get into the spaceship, put your helmet on. So those are the immediate needs covered by the big need, where they call it the plot of the film, which is to destroy the Death Star, right? So there's immediate needs and long-term needs. You have to find those moments in scenes and kind of sprinkle them through. I tell people it's like, seasoning. Sprinkle it through here and there, all right? The ritual of turning up to a place, that gives you behavior right away. Always learn that. What's the ritual of turning up to this place? And do that not in lieu of the words, with the words. Now, you can't do it so it doesn't make any sense, meaning you're disrupting the scene. Do you know what I'm saying? This is where it takes a level of intelligence. You still do the action. You still come home and take your jacket off and put your keys on the counter and put your airline ticket on it, no matter what. Even if you find someone on the ground, you probably drop everything on the ground, but you still do it. You don't bypass it. How you do it, once again, please remember, is character work. One character could be nice and organized, take his jacket off, hang it up on a hook. The other character could throw it on the couch. That's your job. That's your choice as an actor. Please understand that. It's not the director's job or anyone else's. That's your voice. My artistic voice is to make him neat because it would make sense, because I want to give her as little reason to leave me in Closer Now. Otherwise, if I was a smelly pig and shit, she'd leave me. So make it not difficult because you're not thinking like that. Make a choice that makes sense for the character. He's a nice guy. He's a lovely, he supplies and all that stuff, right? So how you do the action is your job also. And what you do when you get there, it's the ritual, right? Habits. Every character has the habit. See, most people, meaning I see the same exact person, I see you in every scene. I want to see a different character. What habits do you have? I've got a pen in my hand now. Where's the lid? I don't think I've got a pen with a lid on it. Does your character put the lid on? Does your character line up everything first so they know what they're going to talk about? What's your character's habit? And the way you do this habit is the way you do everything else. Got me? Do you bring her the postcard that you got from New York shriveled up, or do you find it in an envelope, all that kind of stuff, right? Please understand that. The way you do one thing, you do everything else. Always learn that. Other things we talk about. I'm just going to throw all these big lists so we finish. Eating habits, addictions. What kind of addiction does your character have? Only fits in the script. Don't just put it there just to be a smartass. Don't just put it there because it's an intellectual or interesting idea. Does it make sense for the script to have that? If you're playing an addict or if you're playing someone who's hungry, most actors say the words or behave like that when they say it. I'm an addict. I'm hungry. You were hungry before you said it. So start showing that behavior of, geez, I'm fucking hungry now. But I'm not going to say the line for another half page. But I'm hungry. I feel it in the body. These are little things that great actors apply to their work, so they're not just talking. It's a lot of work. Religion. Are they religion or not? Now, most of us don't give a shit about religion today. But depending on the time of the script, religion mattered 100 years ago. And depends on where you are. So don't just dismiss these things. Are they religious or not? Does it make sense to have them? Do you see, I remember my grandmother, every time she sat down to have a dinner, she would do this. If that's your character, knock yourself out, but you better know why. You got to justify it, right? Sexuality, big one. Are they getting laid or not? You know what I'm saying? It's a simple question, but it feeds the character. You could make a choice like everything's going great. You could make a choice like, no, they're so desperate they just need to be touched like he did with Hogan. Just a great choice, right? Class in society. If he's moving up in the world because of her, or if he's moving down, it would be different. You can make that choice like I'm in a different class than her. It feeds the scene differently. And most of us don't think like that. Well, that's not important. Don't dismiss, like Chekhov used to say, don't dismiss anything till you make it practical, meaning try it, see if it feeds you. Got me? Right? Love. Do they want love in their life? Are they lonely? Jerry's very lonely in Zoo's story. He needs to connect to people, right? Physical habits. What's wrong with their body? Or right with their body? Everyone has problems. Most of these habits, and these are character things, come from what you do for a job. What does your character do for a living? Find their habits. If they read all day, their eyes are burning. Okay, they're in the computer all day. He could come home and just rest his eyes. That's not in the script. Find out what your character does for a job, and I want to see the physical traits in their behavior. Okay? Where are we? Hairstyles, clothing, secrets. What secrets do they have? What secrets do they have? Imagine not telling about the hooker in New York. So you're about to reveal it, but you don't. Or you liked it, but you don't want to admit that. That's different. I still got to say the lines of the script, but I actually enjoyed it. I went back twice. Watch how a good secret as a choice feeds you, right? Also, here's a big one. Dreams. What's the character? What did the character want to do with their life? He became a dermatologist. So what if that was what he wanted to do in his life? But what if that wasn't? What if his dad said, don't go become a dermatologist, and he wanted to become a poet or an artist? And maybe that's why he's fascinated by her, because she's an artist and he's not. Now you're coming to the argument with your arms. I mean, you hate your whole life now. You hate the fact that you're a dermatologist. You hate the fact that you can afford this stupid generic couch, but you're not artistic, so it's just a fucking generic couch. And that's why she's fucking the artist. Even that, where your character is in their own journey as pursuing a dream or not, could feed an amazing character. And you don't show and tell these things. They're done internally. Because here you go, I spent 30 years in college to become a dermatologist, and here I am, and I still can't get the girl. Massive acting choices, right? What's going on politically and socially? Is there a war on? That's the extreme. If there's a war on, you sit differently by the window. You don't stick your face up here. What's going on socially, politically? Right now, we've got the coronavirus going on. People behave differently when they come home. They do their hands. It's in the script. Find out what's going on, because all this stuff will give you behavior. I can go on, and I won't, all right? There are so many things. Here's the golden rule, and I'll try and summarize it. Where's your character coming from? Why are they here? And make connections to the place, and where are they going after this? Now, I could be intending to leave. So I come out of the shower and I'm dressed up knowing I'm going to leave. And if she persuades me, I could say, hey, she apologized. It's all good. We'll sit down. I'll stay home. We'll make love. Doesn't mean you're going to get to your intention. But if you don't have an intention as an actor, you're just going everywhere. If you have an intention, it feeds you differently. And this is why a lot of acting teachers say you try and win, meaning Stella would say you kick her out of the house, and she'd tell her you kick him out of the house. But don't just sit there pushing each other out the door. Have a reason why. Is your lover coming back? Did your lover just leave? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So I want you all to focus on how can I do this scene without the words, and use the words as guidance. He's tired. He's, flew in. He needs a shower. He's hungry, whatever. So you start to feed these choices throughout the whole script. Don't intellectualize it, because then it's a note on your script. I want you to find all these choices. I want you to look around the house and find, did she actually sleep with the guy? I want you to sit there as Jerry or Peter and go, what if the other actor didn't come on board? What would you do if the other actor didn't come? Why would she not just leave? These are amazing choices that give your work so many different colors. And unfortunately, not every actor works like this. Not every director works like this. If you do it, then we see behavior. We see all these other things. And watch great actors. You see it in them. We see behavior without the words. I don't want to see the words. I want to see the action of the scene. We can have many, many, many more discussions about this, and we probably will. We'll break it up individually. But overall, remember this. I want to see the scene, not hear the words. We'll talk again next time.